may be the last thing you ever do right. You worry about how it always sounds so long ago. You can't see it starting over again. And all we know is wrong, but we're not quite setting behind. Tell me if you're awake. Can I talk to you again? Tell me what's it mistakes that have made us only friends. Now I notice how you don't stay anyways. Don't you wait to come back. 'Cause I've been gone a long time and you never knew. You worry about how it always sounds so long ago. You can't see it starting over again. And all along we know it's wrong, but we're not quite setting behind. Tell me if you're awake. Can I talk to you again? Tell me what's it mistakes that have made us only friends. Now I notice how you don't stay anyways. Don't you wait, don't you wait. Don't you wait, don't you wait. Don't you wait. Falls apart and yet still we start, 'cause we're not quite setting behind. Tell me if you're awake. Can I talk to you again? Tell me what's it mistakes that have made us only friends. Now I notice how you don't stay. All along we know it's wrong. I was not DOA. It falls apart and yet still we start. That's how we play these games. So say it now if you ever will. And please don't hesitate. And just don't wait. And I've noticed now you don't stay anyways.
Alrighty, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Araya Swift Lifestyle Pro Series for race number 13 on the season, but race number 1 in our 5-race playoff. Here in Hampton, Georgia, we're live at Atlanta Motor Speedway for the Araya Playoff Opener. I'm our celebrity Leah Natcher. Joining me in the booth, as always, is my right-hand man, Jacob Bell, and executive producer Harold Darner, and Gary Wells, new voice in the booth. How's it going, everyone?
It's going
good,
pretty
man.
good.
Go ahead, Gary. You can jump in there.
Yeah, it's all right. It's going pretty good. Ready to see a good quality ARCA race at one of my favorite racetracks, Atlanta. It's going to be a good time.
Should be a good time indeed, and this is the old Atlanta, not the new reconfiguration of Atlanta. This is still the traditional 1.5 mile quad oval with 24 degrees throughout the corners, 5 degrees on the straights, and pretty clear cut and dry, just like last week at Charlotte. Got 110 laps slated for us here tonight on this mile-and-a-half racetrack, and still looking at a fuel window of about 44 to 47 laps. But it is race number 1 of the Ariah Swift Lifestyle Pro Series playoffs. And if there's a way we can look at our graphic for who is going to be in said playoffs. That's right. Getting that on the screen. Got 12 drivers in, as you can see there on your screen. Matthew Robinson leading the way with an extra 21 playoff points. And right below, you see Nicholas Halda, James Shamewell, Forrest Smith, Gary Lewis, Sean Corcoran in top 6. Then we go to Caleb Steimer, who got that win at Talladega. That puts him in 7th in the playoff standings. And then right below him is Bobby Tinch. And then those in red you see are the 4 that are on the outside, looking to make it into the second round, the round of 8. Those are J.J. Wang, Eli Green, Trevor Williams, and Dominic DeLeo. I had to refresh something. My apologies there. So this is the first playoff race for any of the Ariah leagues, as we'll have Northern Capital Truck Series Tuesday night, Lodge Box Wednesday night, and then the Sims Beach Up Cup Series Thursday night. So all 4 series will be racing at the same racetrack. So this will kind of give us a little preview of what we will see for not only just the Ariah League, but for the Swift Lifestyle Pro Series, because 3 of these 5 races in the playoffs are at tracks greater than a mile and a half in length. We go to Atlanta tonight, and then the next races in the playoffs will be Michigan for race number 3. That's a 2-mile track, and then Kansas, the penultimate race before the championship race in Phoenix. And looking through the average finishing positions for the 3-mile-and-a-half tracks that we've been to, currently led by Matthew Robinson, who's got an average finish of 2nd in 3 races. So look for Matthew Robinson to be a factor here. But as we mentioned in the playoff standings, Eli Green 10th in the playoff picture, but he's 2nd amongst the playoff drivers in average finish with an average finish of 3.6. You can go to Sean Corcoran with a flat 5. Forrest Smith with a 7. Nicholas Halda 8.6. Gary Lewis 9.3. And then we go back to Bobby Tinch with 13. J.J. Wang 13th also. James Shamewell, although he's leading in practice, his average finish is 14.5, a mile and a half. So you're going to have to increase that, or decrease that, if you will. Make the average finish just a little bit better. Then we got Dominic DeLeo in that 15.3. Trevor Williams 15.6, and Caleb Steimer 20.3. So guys, who are the drivers that can dethrone Matthew Robinson heading into tonight?
I tell you what, I think if there's anybody that's got a shot, I know it's just based off of the practice numbers, but I tell you what, I've known Shane for a while. He is a very good driver, usually pretty good at these mile-and-a-halves. Just something always seems to happen with him in these mile-and-a-half races, whether it's strategy-wise or getting caught up in something that's not his own doing. This could be a dark horse right here of who to look out for. Atlanta kind of fits his skill set where you do have to drive this car to win here. It's very bumpy, very slick racetrack no matter the conditions. So I think he might be a spoiler here.
Yeah, and I think when you're looking at that too, you got to look at Dom DeLeo, another one of those guys who's had the speed all season long, just not able to put it all together in a complete race yet. I think tonight, Atlanta, he's been practicing all week long. We'll see what the 21 car can bring.
Those are 2 drivers we'll have to keep an eye on. As you see on the left side of your screen there, the drivers listed in the playoff are in yellow. So James Shamewell in yellow. Paul Irvin not in the playoffs. He's currently in white. And then Dominic DeLeo in yellow also. And then another way that we can pinpoint who is exactly in the playoffs, we'll go to, it could be any one of the drivers. We'll go to Matthew Robinson. Matthew Robinson, and this is on all the playoff drivers' cars. They've got orange banners on the windshield, which you can see right there. Orange banners on the windshield, orange spoiler and splitter, just to solidify who is racing for a championship.
And it really does help those non-playoff drivers out, seeing the orange banners all over the car. Just let you know, hey, I'm going for the championship. May not tell them to be like, hey, get out of the way, But, just to keep in mind of, okay, who do I really have to race around, and be careful with who I'm racing with. And it does help the fans at home too.
Absolutely. And you got to look at it too when you got these playoff drivers out here. A lot of these guys that aren't in the playoffs are just as quick, Hunter. I mean, we got Jordan Hurley, who's been kind of on a tear as of late. He won last week at Charlotte. We know he's going to be in contention tonight. Paul Irvin, the number 4, he's been pretty quick week in and week out as well.
Yeah, Jordan Hurley has the most wins out of any driver in the Swift Lifestyle Pro Series with 4, but due to his race suspension, he was not playoff eligible anymore, and that kind of opened the door for Matthew Robinson. He's only got 2 wins on the year, but they came back-to-back at Homestead in Iowa, and since then, he has been on the tear, 11 top 5s, and he's got the top 10 in every race we've been in so far. So really quick with how the bonus points worked, each win is 3 bonus points, and then the champion, the regular season champion, Matthew Robinson, got a bonus 15 points. So that explains the bonus points there for first place, and then second place got 8, and then it went down 1 by 1 up until 10th. So everybody got a bonus point except for Trevor Williams and Dominic DeLeo. Still a couple minutes left in our practice session. Looks like we're going to have about 25 drivers in with us tonight. For any of the playoff contenders, I mean, we already touched up on James Shanewolf as potentially being a dark horse. What about those that are on the outside looking in? I'm looking at Eli Green. Although he's 10th in the standings, he's been really fast, really consistent all year. He's got 3 top 5s, 7 top 10s. He's always been there inside the top 10. Something just seems to go wrong during those races. So we're in the playoffs now, and the margin for error is slimmer than ever before. And I mean, it could happen to Matthew Robinson. I mean, he could have a mistake, and he could be on the outside looking in after tonight.
Yeah, and I mean, you get really one mulligan in these rounds, right, with the playoffs and everything. Really, for Eli, I know he's kind of on the outside looking in, so to speak. But if you look at his average finish here at these mile and a halves of 3.6, this is one of his best shots. I'm not going to say his only shot because we got Michigan next week, and that's another mile intermediate super speedway type of racetrack. But this is really his shot here to get himself locked in tonight with a good run here. Maybe not necessarily a win, but if he finishes top 5, that's really going to catapult him and help him going into the next week.
Indeed, something we'll keep an eye on as the night rolls on. And here's our weather for tonight's race, presented by Lottie'sTravelWorld.com. Mostly cloudy skies here in Hampton. 85 degrees in the air, 93 on the racetrack, humidity at 53%, and the winds ever changing from the north, currently at 7 miles an hour.
Yeah, that wind and that track temp's still going to be a factor, especially the track temp. I know 94 isn't the hottest that we've seen for Atlanta, but it seems like even with this old worn-out surface, even when it's cold, it's still really slick. So that track temp, if it warms up at all, that's going to be something to look out for.
Yeah, another thing we'll have to look out for is tire wear, because Atlanta is one of the more notable racetracks in which tire wear runs really quick. You could be lap 10 on a run, and we could see time fall off from anywhere from half a second to a second just after 10 laps. And the fuel run is 44 to 47. I mentioned that because periodically throughout the season, we've had races go caution-free. So if this race goes caution-free, you got to manage your tires as best as you can, because we only have 3 sets of tires.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Hunter. One of the things I'm kind of looking at as practice is winding down here also, Gary Lewis, 25th right now on the board of our 25 drivers that have put down a lap. So,
yikes.
Yeah, maybe not the speed that the 69 car was looking for. He came in tonight with a 9.3 average finish on the mile and a half tracks this season. So potentially a regular top 10 kind of guy, but so far in practice, not looking like it.
Well, and I mean, even with this practice, I'm looking at it. Everybody's in the 31s. He's only off by 4 tenths. If he picks up a couple of tenths here before practice is over, he could be easily right up there in the top 10. But we're about to go to qualifying, so you never know.
We'll say the flagman enthusiastically waving that checkered flag, so signaling that the practice session is over. And now we'll go to our 10-minute qualifying session, in which now more than ever, margin of error is slim to none for these playoff drivers. And we've seen it last week at Charlotte, where drivers would get loose and hit the turn 2 wall. We even saw Chris Steimer, who won last week. He flipped his car in qualifying, and he went on to win the race.
Yeah, Charlotte has always been very tricky with the banking, just falling off from underneath you off of turn 2 and off of turn 4. It's still a pretty quick fall off of banking here at the exit of these corners. Turn 2, I think, is really going to be a trouble corner for a lot of guys tonight, whether that's qualifying or even in the race.
I just realized the race I was referring to with Chris Steimer crashing, flipping, and qualifying, that was the Sim Speed Shop Cup Series. But Charlotte was a tough track for everyone all week. Looking for Atlanta to be the same, especially with the tires involved.
Yeah, and I think you'll probably see these guys pit for tires before they have to pit for fuel. I know we said the fuel window is about 47 laps, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see these guys come in anywhere around lap 38 to lap 40. That still puts you within the fuel window, and also to get a little bit of a jump on the tires, because you can pick up a couple of seconds a lap from old tires versus new tires for sure.
Yes, we saw that last week at Charlotte in both, in all series, really. So we see Bobby Tinch going to the top of the chart, and you'll see the fastest car, or the fastest lap, go on the top right, as we see the names flicker across the screen on the left side of your screen.
Vern Hawkins there laying a 61 there.
And Vern Hawkins at the top of the chart with 3 of the playoff drivers. One of those being Bobby Tinch, who currently enters the race on that cut line, just barely in 8th place. The 1-point cushion over J.J. Wang as he comes across for his second lap. Looks like he's going to stay in the 4th spot as Eli Green goes to the top of the chart.
Yeah, and I was looking at Eli's lap just now, and he looked like he was really committed down to that bottom lane and able to really just hug that white line in the corners and able to take that shortest distance around.
And off turn 4, Forrest Smith going to complete his second lap. This is another driver to keep an eye on for, because him and Gary Lewis, with one line to design, they have worked their way up the championship standings for not only themselves, but for one line to design in the team championship, as he's currently second on the chart right now.
Yeah, second on the chart there with a 31.5 there. Really fast lap for him.
We're looking through about half of the drivers that have gone out and completed a lap, including Dominic DeLeo. Looking like he's on his second lap right now. He's currently second on the chart right now.
Yeah, currently second on the chart. Be nice to see if we could see if he's in the green or red at all to possibly take that provisional pole. We'll see when he gets to the line.
Coming down to the line, we'll see if he improves, and it looks like he'll stay in the second spot. But the 21 car promoting a brand new paint scheme for Fazekas Motorsports and playoff push.
Yeah, and he laid down to 31.42. That's a pretty solid lap right there.
We move to another playoff driver in the one of Trevor Williams. Williams is one of those, including Dominic DeLeo, that did not get any bonus points for making the playoffs, because those only went to the drivers inside the top 10. So Williams and DeLeo a little bit of a disadvantage concerning that regard, because every point matters, every position matters, and qualifying, it really matters. As we see Williams now completing his first lap. Going to be 11th for the moment.
Yeah, and that's not a bad qualifying effort there, but I have to agree with you. You get these points for finishing top 10 in the standings. If you finish outside there, you don't get any points. That is a disadvantage come seeding time and come, the first couple of rounds, especially to get out of the first round. That's going to be really tough to do, getting out of the first round without any points at all. You got to run really good in those 2 races and not have any mess-ups.
There we see Sean Corcoran, another playoff driver, going inside the top 10. Trevor Williams not improving on that lap time. He'll stay 14th. Now we're looking through, we got 6 of our playoff drivers inside the top 10. And the highest one not in the playoff, currently Jordan Hurley running second, or qualified second. There's another playoff driver in J.J. Wang.
Yeah, really no surprise to see Jordan Hurley qualify so well. He's just done it all season long, Hunter. I believe he started top 4 in every single race except for one for the O2 of Jordan Hurley. So
Yeah, he's definitely, from what I was able to gather here, he's pretty much the rocket man of the series.
And that second lap from J.J. Wang will not count, as you saw him smack the wall coming out of turn 2. So it looks like those problems at Charlotte are slowly moving over into Atlanta qualifying, and there's the fastest car in practice, James Shanewolf, who enters the playoffs third, just behind Nicholas Halda and Matthew Robinson.
I'm curious to see how his lap's going to stack up against Eli. Eli put together a pretty impressive run there in qualifying, and he needs it.
Yeah, he sure did, and that was a really good qualifying effort there. It's going to be interesting to see, where these guys stack up in qualifying, because Atlanta, I mean, you know this, Jacob, from being in the car yourself. I mean, it is a tough place to pass once we get all spread out.
Yep, no, for sure. So there you see Shanewolf. Looks like he's going to have the same problems Hunter documented with J.J. Wang. Hitting the wall in the outside of turn 2 on lap 1, but I think lap 2 seems to be quicker for these guys anyway, so it's really about just setting up for that fast second lap.
Through, including Shanewolf, who has yet to put up a lap time as he comes across the stripe. And now I'm looking at Nicholas Halda, Matthew Robinson, amongst playoff drivers who have yet to go and put down a lap time, just as we see the 40 of Robinson enter the racetrack.
Yeah, I can see Robinson having a good lap too. I know we got Shanewolf, I think, coming to the stripe to complete his second lap. Curious to see where he ends up on the charts, as Robinson's coming out now as well.
Along with the 4 of Paul Irvin, who was second quickest in practice, he is yet to put down a lap in qualifying, although he just took a green flag lap. So we see Shanewolf completing his lap, and he jumps up to third on the chart.
Good run for the 31 car. Probably not the exact position he was hoping for, though, Hunter. I think he was anticipating a front row starting spot. Looks like he's going to have to settle for row 2, pending what Matthew Robinson does here in this 40 car as well.
Matthew Robinson has been the one to beat all year, although he only had 2 wins on the year. He's been very consistent, been inside the top 10 for the whole year. That's where he's finished. And the one race where he didn't finish inside the top 10, or the top 5, was Watkins Glen.
Yeah. That's pretty remarkable to have a top 5 every race but one. And then you mentioned top 10 every single start this season. So speaks to the speed of that 40 car, and you see him going second on lap 1.
Robinson looking to get one position better as he gets loose there coming out of turn 2. Not really sure if that will help his lap time out or not as he works his way through 3 and 4. But nonetheless, a front row starting spot for the moment for the number 40.
Look at that top 5, Hunter.
Yeah,
Pretty
4 of the
stacked.
top 5 drivers are playoff drivers. And then not to count out Forrest Smith and Gary Lewis from One Mind to Design. They're at least 7th and 9th at the moment. Qualifying looking like it's going to wrap up here. Still have a bit of drivers who have yet to go out and put down a lap time.
Just
Actually,
2.
those two just being Rick Ward and Rick Christensen. Jake, you mentioned to me before the broadcast to keep an eye on him as a potential upset for these playoff drivers.
Yeah, Rick. I mean, we were both at the race in Las Vegas where Rick was pretty much the dominant car hunter, and you remember it was actually the 8 of Chris Knight who was, I believe, a lap down at the time. He wrecked on the backstretch and really had nowhere for Rick Christensen to try to avoid it, and it caused that massive hit to the 19 and pretty much ended his race right there on the spot. So he's obviously got the speed at the 1.5 mile racetracks. We'll see what he brings here tonight at Atlanta. No qualifying is an interesting strategy. He's going to have to make up at least 23 positions or so to try to get back up to that top spot.
And that race being at Las Vegas, that is the first race that Jordan Hurley won. And Jordan Hurley looking like he'll start third at the moment, although I doubt anyone will go out and put down a lap time and it'll count. Because we've seen that before where drivers try to go out and put a lap time down at the last second and it doesn't quite work out.
Yeah, you kind of hope for the sun to go down a little bit more and that track temp to cool off so you get better grip for the tires. That's kind of the game plan there when it comes to, trying to qualify later on in the session. Personally, it's the same thing I would do as well, but doesn't look like anybody else is going to be able to post a lap time, as we got about 3 seconds left here before the times go official.
And so we'll get your starting lineup in just a few moments here.
It's a good one, too. I think this top 5 is very, very strong, not to mention Forrest Smith, Gary Lewis, like you said, sprinkled in back half of the top 10.
Yep, certainly drivers to keep an eye on throughout the night. So we'll get their playoff grid here, and there you see the drivers in yellow are in the playoffs, starting with our front row, led by Eli Green on the pole, and to his outside, starting second, Matthew Robinson in the 40.
At row 2, that's where you're going to find Jordan Hurley in the 02. Outside of him, James Shamewolf in the 31.
Row number 3, we're going to find Dominic DeLeo, a playoff driver, starting 5th, and alongside him, Jeremy Horn, who almost made the playoffs last week at Charlotte, going to start P6.
Forrest Smith is going to roll off inside row 4. Outside of him, Paul Irvin in the number 4.
Gary Lewis, teammate of Forrest Smith from One Mind to Design, is going to start 9th, and alongside him, Travis Beckner, starting 10th.
Row 6 is where you're going to find Adam Capps in the number 55. Outside of him, Nicholas Hall in the 87, another one of our 12 playoff drivers.
And you'll find our surprise playoff driver in row number 7, starring alongside Dustin Carroll in the 92 is Caleb Steimer, the Talladega winner, with the last lap pass to get him locked in the playoffs. Going to start 14th.
Another playoff driver, Sean Corcoran this time, the 22. He's going to roll off P15. Outside of him, Vern Hawkins in the 41, who nearly won last week at Charlotte.
Row number 9 will be the 9 car of Ryan Swan, and alongside him, Nolan Neiman in the 15, going to start P18.
Trevor Williams in the number 1, another playoff driver here tonight, and Brian Dixon in the 33 is going to round out our top 20 starters here tonight as they're starting to roll off at Atlanta. Bobby Tinch, Mark Patterson, JJ Wang, Rick Christensen, and then Rick Ward rounding out our 25 cars here tonight. Hunter, who you got, man?
Oh man, I feel like with the playoff starting, you have to go with a playoff driver, and I'm going to go with the pole sitter Eli Green. I think he finally gets it done tonight, and he gets that first win because he hasn't had a win all year. So
No.
I think he gets a win here, and that he locks himself in for the next round.
Yeah,
Who you got?
I'd say my pick for myself is going to be the outside of row 2. I was pumping him up earlier. I know I said I'd never pick him again after the truck race at Darlington. Got to go with him. James Shanewolf, he's my guy starting P4.
Okay, I'm going to go with Jordan Hurley, the 02. I think he was pretty dominant last week at a mile and a half. I think he continues tonight.
Harold, who you got?
I'll take the number 40 and Matthew Robinson.
Oh,
Good pick. Good
okay,
pick.
okay. Very interesting. So
All of our guys starting in the
picks are
type
inside
4
the
here.
top four. We'll see the pace truck make the hard left turn on the pit road, and starter Eli Green can go whenever he wants, and the playoffs are underway in Atlanta.
Yeah, still see that. Well, it was a side-by-side battle for second, but now it's going to be a side-by-side battle for third between the 31 and the 40, and it looks like James is going to be able to make that pass up into the third spot.
Exactly
we'll
what Eli
slowly-
Green wanted to see off that start. He's able to get clear and out front. Now he's going to have to try to hold off the 02 with Jordan Hurley. We'll see how long it takes for the 02 to get up there.
I'll say we'll slowly see the middle and upper grooves start to work their way in throughout the race, because this is a track like Kansas and Chicago where you can run more than one groove, and we'll see in the majority of the field at one point run up near the wall, but for the moment, running towards the bottom. Some drivers going to be running up towards the wall right now.
Yeah, and this is great about this racetrack. Drivers have a lot of options here. For about the first 10 laps, you'll see these guys try to work the bottom of the racetrack, because if you run the high side too early, that really does tend to eat up your tires a little bit if you do it wrong. But after about 10 to 15 laps, after the tires get a little bit of wear in them, we'll start to see these guys move all over this racetrack.
So far, Eli Green's got about a half-second lead on Jordan Hurley.
He also posted the quickest lap on lap 2 there, so Speed seeming to be inside that number 28 car. It's going to be about making it all 110 laps and trying to make that speed last. A little bit of a battle starting to form up here between Robinson and Shanewood for the third spot.
And meanwhile, side by side in the back for P6, you got Jeremy Horn on the outside and Dominic DeLeo currently in 7th, as DeLeo looking low on Horn going into turn 1. So there we see him starting to run the middle groove. And it looks like DeLeo's going to take the spot away, so move Dominic DeLeo up to P6.
And we're seeing a migrator early to the top lane. Travis Beckner up in that 8th spot and falling back just a little bit. I don't think that top groove is quite in there, but he's definitely breaking it in for everybody else right now.
Oh yeah, Travis Beckner's falling all the way back to 17th after
And he's
starting
blinking too a
inside
little
the
bit on
top
my
10.
screen.
Yeah, he's been told to give way here, so these guys can get around him because of that exact issue.
10-4. Yeah, these drivers, they will let you know when you're blinking really fast here on iRacing. They will tell you the minute they even think about you blinking.
You know, blinking hasn't been too much of an issue, although whenever it is an issue, we've seen it happen at Talladega quite a bit, and that's a mess to be behind or in front of a driver that's blinking. Different than on a mile and a half. Yeah, no. Different on a mile and a half as the cars are more spread out, although there are some battles in between. It's looking like we might have a 4-car battle for a second as Jordan Hurley slowly starting to lose pace with race leader Eli Green, and then right behind him it looks like a 3-car train between Shane Wolf, Robinson, and Paul Irvin.
Yeah, I'm thinking it could be a whole entire pace thing for Jordan. It might be one of those things where maybe trying to save a little bit of his tires so he could be fast at the end of the run here as well in about 10 to 15 laps.
Well, it looks like Paul is starting to blink in and out too.
Yeah, I thought that was just me. 10-4. There is a nice little battle here between the 87, 84, and 81. All these 80 numbers right here, battling for the 8th position.
Yep, right there you'll see it's like Forrest Smith down low on Nicholas Halda in the 87 there on the outside, and then right behind him is looks like Jeremy Horn. So 8th, 9th, and 10th all up for grabs, and even outside the top 10.
Even outside the top 10, yeah, these guys are really battling, and you really are starting to see that middle groove come in here at Atlanta. The 87 is able to hold his ground there on that high side, being able to keep that engine a little bit more wound up.
Yeah, if you watch the 18 of Caleb Steimer as he actually drops to the bottom right there, but he was one of them that I was starting to agree with you there, Gary. He was really making that middle line work. Looked like he was making some ground up on Vern Hawkins before he ended up dropping down to the bottom.
Oh, car in the wall back there. It looks like it's Ryan Swan
like
in the 9.
Yeah, Ryan in the
Swan
wall,
in the
able to
wall,
keep
in
it
the
out of
wall.
there now.
Yeah, turn 2 was a trouble spot last week at Charlotte. Looking like it's going to be the same here at Atlanta. Fortunate that he did not spin off of that wall, and no cautions out, so we're still green flag here in Atlanta.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to not spin instantly if you get off the wall here in Atlanta as opposed to Charlotte. Charlotte, you hit the wall at a weird angle and it's game over for the most part. But here at Atlanta, it's a little more forgiving. But turn 2, still going to be a trouble spot.
You know, one of the things that's jumping out to me right away here is we see, you know, a lot of our playoff guys well inside the top 15. But if you look back to 19th and 20th, that's where you got Bobby Tinch as well as JJ Wayne. They're actually side by side right now as they cross the stripe. Those guys are going to have to run a lot better than that if they want to advance to round 2, Gary.
Yeah, they're definitely going to have to run a lot better than that, pick up the pace a little bit. But again, you know, it is lap 11 out of lap 110. They still got 100 laps, 99 laps to go. Plenty of time, but this not very speedy pace early.
Not an ideal start.
Yeah, not an ideal start. They are one of those guys that is hoping for an early caution. But here's the thing. The moment you start hoping for a caution, you usually become the caution.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a really good point there. And you see right in front of him, Ryan Swan in the 9. Hunter, and you documented he got into the wall a few laps ago. That battle that you guys mentioned between all the 80s is still going on. Dominic DeLeo's in the mix now as well in the 21.
Yeah, DeLeo was looking on the inside of...
you got a 1 or an 8 in your
Spot.
number. It seems like you're going to be battling.
Moment. Yeah. Yeah, that battle's still going on, and it looks like we might have a 3-wide battle as Nicholas Halda trying to peek his nose through the middle. And there we saw Forrest Smith in the 84. Last week in Charlotte, he was one of the few drivers to run the outside, looking like he's going to do the same here in Atlanta.
Anytime that you can get that outside going, it is so good because there's not a whole lot of people that are willing to migrate up there. So if you can get that outside going, usually you'll be able to get up to the front, and you might even scare some drivers because of how fast you can get up off these corners and come down the straightaway.
Battle's closing up for the lead, guys. I think the 28 might have slapped the wall coming out of turn 2 last time around. He's gotten closed up on pretty quickly by the 02 of Jordan Hurley.
Oh, and the 31 of James Shanewolf, they're all right there. It's a 3-car battle.
And not only that, in the middle of all the battling in the back, Paul Irvin passed Matthew Robinson for that 4th spot. So the top 5, as you see, they've pulled away quite a bit from that gaggle of cars that's in the back battling for the 6th spot. Although we see Hurley on the inside of Eli Green now, side by side for the lead as they come off turn 4. Going to be Green on the outside, Hurley on the inside. Looking through, Green.
Eli got it by a nose, I think. Yeah, he got it by a nose there. And that's one thing about this track, too, that we're going to see throughout the night. If it comes down to a close finish, you're going to want to look for that guy on the outside. Because it seems like, like I mentioned earlier, you can get that momentum, especially up off of 4, and you can really defend really well here.
You see on your screen, Ryan Swan has brought the number 9 car down the pit road. So we mentioned he hit the wall earlier, looking like he's going to repair the right side of that car, get the repairs done and out of the way. Meanwhile, Jordan Hurley has completed the pass on Eli Green for the lead. Shane Wolf now in the battle for 2nd.
He's brought his buddy with him. It looks like the 31 car following suit as well. Right there on the bottom, and it's going to be tight here off of turn 2.
Ooh, I don't think he can do it.
He found
a way to do it.
Wow. I think he had a little bit of help. We have a spinner in the back. Caution.
Caution's out. Caution out on the racetrack. Looking like it's Trevor Williams in the 1.
22. Sean spun out.
Sean Corcoran. Yeah, Sean Corcoran. One of
it looked like him and the 81. Him and the 81 got together.
So we'll take a look at our 1 to go replay. So she Corcoran in the 22 down low. It looks like that's Caleb Steimer to his outside.
Yeah, and like I was saying, that tricky spot, turn 2, looked like Sean just had to check up just a little bit for the car in front of him, and I don't think the 81 was quite expecting that.
Sean got away pretty lucky with that to not have any more damage than he did.
Yeah,
normally able to avoid him.
Yeah, normally you get sideways like that in the middle of a pack in Atlanta, you're lucky to escape with minimal damage. I mean, his back end doesn't even look damaged at all.
Yeah,
so he got a break right there.
I'm sure he's not happy as well. Obviously, Jeremy Horn, the one getting involved with him there, not a playoff driver. Obviously, Sean in the top 12, so a lot to lose for him, not a lot to lose for Jeremy Horn.
Yeah, and I really want to chalk that up just from our perspective, just as a typical racing incident. I mean, like you said, but I mean, also, Jeremy does have to show that same awareness, too. There's guys side by side in front of you there. Might want to roll out of the gas just a little bit.
You see a good bit of drivers on pit road early.
Yeah, I knew they were going to take those tires early here. You got that extra set. Only got to be 2 green flag pit stops. If it does go green, you're going to want those tires as often as you can, especially at a place like here.
Not as many as I thought. We see Rick Christensen come down, as well as Gary Lewis in the 69, Nolan Neiman, Jeremy Horn, and then Adam Capps and Brian Dixon. But that's it. All the rest of the guys actually stayed out and did not come down pit road. I was kind of surprised by that call.
Well, and if you look at guys like J.J. Wang here, he's up to 13th now this last time by, a playoff driver. I mean, that's going to be a guy who needed that early caution. He got it. Now it's just a matter of, did I scrub off my tires too much that first run? If I didn't, I'm going to want to try and take the track position here early on in this race and try to make my way toward the front that way. So it's all about strategy, even on lap 18 of a race like this.
Oh, Eli Green coming in this time. It looked like last time he was playing tricks with those behind, see if they could pit or not. But it looks like he bites the bullet and pits in this time by.
It'll be interesting to see. I'll be watching his pit time, see if he just tops it off with fuel a little bit, or if he decides to get those tires as well.
Yeah, no, I would definitely be taking tires here. I don't know. We don't really have a history of having a lot of cautions in this series, so I think if you get one, even if it's lap 20 right now, I think it's worth coming in, putting that set on. You still got to stop
And
two
he
more times, anyways.
and he is putting that set on right now. I'm showing he's been in the box here for 21 seconds now. So, and it looks like he does have a little bit of right side damage to
Yeah.
your point pickup earlier. So I think he's working on getting that repaired too.
Yeah, that's what let Jordan Hurley there and Shane Wolf catch right up to him. He just got a little tight coming out of turn 2. Like you mentioned, the trouble spot got into the outside wall.
And it just seems like, especially in 1 and 2, it's really bad where just in the middle of the corner, especially on older tires, it just gets really tight right there in the center, but the car will still push up the racetrack even when you're all the way out of the gas. So it could have been just one of those things where it got tight in the center, and that usually makes your exit tied off, and if you're not careful, it will slide up into the wall on you.
Looks like we're going to get the one to go this time by. Looks like drivers are doubling up. We'll see the lights go out on the pace truck. And Jordan Hurley has control of which lane he wants to choose.
Looks like he's picking the inside. Good man.
Yeah, the inside line is the line to go, because the outside line, for some reason, it just does not go. Whether it's the initial start or the restart, that second place driver has a tough time going.
I'd say one thing to watch out for sure is restarting here on these older tires. I mean, they're not new. They're not. I wouldn't say they're worn out, but 15 green flag laps, they're gonna be a little bit difficult to restart on.
Yeah, you're going to have to watch for a lot of wheel spin here. And also, even with the outside lane, it seems like even if you're the leader and you choose the outside lane here, it just seems like I don't know if it's just you're right in the racing groove, but it seems like you just can't quite get the wheel spin and the jump that you would need. It seems like you're just really spinning and not going anywhere on that outside lane. But yeah, wheel spin's definitely going to be a thing to watch here amongst our top 10 for this restart.
So look for the inside line and drivers getting the better jump. Jordan Hurley, Paul Irwin as he continues to blink in and out. Dominic DeLeo, Forrest Smith, and then the one of Trevor Williams, who I mistook for the car spinning out, which was actually Sean Corcoran that brought out our first caution. And now we'll have our first restart as Jordan Hurley leads him back to the green flag.
Yeah, and Jordan got a really good restart. Again, that inside lane, able to take off really well. Now, Paul did struggle a little bit being the second car in line on the inside lane, but for the most part, looked like the leader took off, and then second and fourth knew it was time to go. Yeah, but Paul is falling way back here. I don't know if he was told to back off here with all the blinking issues that he's been having, but he fell back a couple, 3 spots here on this restart.
Paul Irvin has dropped down to the 4th spot, and right behind him is Dominic DeLeo, currently in the top 5.
Yeah, and Vern Hawkins just made a move on him to go to the inside.
Yeah, Vern Hawkins putting the challenge there to the 21s. So they're side by side, going through turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, it looks like
trying to get the run.
Yeah, I'm seeing an interesting side-by-side battle here between 66 of Bobby Tinch and I believe 45 of Travis Beckner here.
Man,
for that 12th spot.
Nicholas Holden, the 87, just made quite the move to get all the way around Dominic DeLeo. He looks pretty quick right now.
Power move on the outside?
No, it was actually down low.
Ah, 10-4. Good pass.
He's caught
now
up in a
down
bunch of
low
traffic.
underneath the 21 is the
And
one of Williams.
And that 87, Nick Holden, sticking to that bottom or that middle lane there, seems to be a decent place to be here so far. And that top lane will work in by the end of this race, that's for sure, as he goes back down to the bottom.
Right now, it looks like Dominic DeLeo, the only one trying to challenge on that outside. Looks like in the back, looks like J.J. Wang also making an attempt to run the middle or upper groove.
Yeah, I'm showing here a lot of these guys are starting to sprinkle in with their tires. Gary Lewis making his move up through the field. So is Nolan Neiman. Travis Beckner starting to fall back. Same with Sean, Bobby, and Dustin all back here. They're starting to fall back a little bit. So these guys with the 6-lap old tires, couple of green flag laps, they're starting to work their way up toward the back end of the top 10 here.
Yeah, Gary Lewis is the one leading the charge in the 69 car. He's the first one on fresh tires. He's up to 12.
Yeah, he's up to 12 here, getting ready to battle with the 00 for that 11th position. Looks like he was able to clear him, and same with Mullen. He's just going to fall right in behind him.
Now Gary Lewis has his eyes set on the 18 of Caleb Steimer, who's currently inside the top 10.
Yeah, and you're really going to start to see here the difference between 25-lap old tires and 7-lap old tires. I know that's the exact count, a little bit, maybe about 10 laps here under green, 10, 12 laps, but it's definitely going to be a telltale difference here.
So you mentioned before the broadcast, Caleb Steimer had the worst average finish on 1.5 miles out of all the playoff drivers in the field, and at the moment he was running inside the top 10. Contact almost in the back between, looked like the 18 of Steimer and then Nolan Neiman in the 15.
And it looked like the 28 there of Eli Green had to check up just a little bit. Here comes Eli. He's going to make a move on that 18 car, telling him, beep, beep, get out of the way, down to the bottom side of the racetrack.
I think the 69 of Gary Lewis is by far the quickest car on the track right now. He's just caught in that traffic.
Yeah, he's just caught in that traffic, but he's picking them off pretty good here. Now he's going to be making a move to the inside of Trevor Williams here. I tell you what, give it another 10, 15 laps, I think he could be leading this thing. If he plays his cards right and is able to time his runs and everything and make his passes really well. Because he's able to keep it down a little bit further to the inside on the exit of these corners where everybody else is having to drift up because of the older tires. He's still got a little bit more tire than everybody else.
Ooh, it looked like he was going to clip the wall there.
Oh, 3 wide.
As we see some 3 wide action out down the backstretch, just behind Gary Lewis.
Yeah, just behind Gary Lewis. Eli Green making it 3 wide and is able to
Green.
clear everybody, and they're still 3 wide. Now they're 2
got a
wide.
lap car in there of Ryan Swan in the mix.
Yeah, you look at Gary Lewis now. He's all over the back bumper of Paul Irvin, getting ready to take that 5th spot away. And look at how much Gary, as the 4 got loose there.
He can just drive right. I mean, power.
Yeah, he's just able to send it down in there.
Again, Ryan Swan.
Ryan into the wall again. Looks like he's got some right front suspension issues there after he hit that wall pretty hard there. But yeah, you saw Gary there, Jacob. He was able to just send it down into there to the corner and make it stick, and that's the beauty of those new tires here at Atlanta early on in the run. But you got to be careful not to abuse those because then it just starts to even out. So he's got to be really careful here these next couple laps as he's trying to catch up top 3.
He's bringing his buddy, the 28 of Eli Green, the other guy with fresh tires, along with him. I think Green's probably done a better job managing those tires because Gary's been really aggressive on this short run with him.
Yeah, Gary's been really aggressive. And even a shout out to Nolan Neiman. He's working his way up through this field as well. And he pitted right with these guys too.
Right there, you see the battle for the 6th spot between Nolan Neiman and Vern Hawkins.
Yeah. 6th place battle there. We also got a battle here for 3rd between the 69 and the 31.
Won't take long, I don't think.
I don't think it'll be much longer either. I think James is just going to let him go here. Yep, there he goes. Oh, but here comes James. I thought he was going to try to make a move to the inside. Guess he thought better of it.
You know, the lap times haven't even started to settle out yet. I mean, the 69 and the 28 of Eli Green.
Got loose there. Looked like Eli Green got loose there. Actually,
They're
no,
both.
that was Shane Wolf. My apology.
They're both, though, still tracking 5 or 6 tenths quicker than our top 2 guys on the racetrack, so they'll be there.
Oh, yeah, they'll be there for sure, unless they really start burning their stuff up, which my only question mark really at this point is going to be Gary Lewis, because he was the one that had to be aggressive to make all the holes for Eli to get through.
Yeah,
Gary Lewis is right there. I mean, he's caught him in a heartbeat.
Yeah, as soon as I saw the 69 come down and those few guys that actually decided to pit under that caution, I thought that was a great move. I really love that pit call there.
Yeah, definitely a short-term gain for sure. I mean, he's all over the back bumper of our leaders now.
Currently leading is Jordan Hurley. Battle for 2nd now with Robinson on the outside. Gary Lewis down on the bottom.
And another one of those things, I don't think it's going to be much of a battle. He's going to try to go for a 2-for-1 here.
I think he might get.
He's going to clear him.
It's going to be close, clearing him off the turn as they go down the backstretch. Now looks like that run will keep Jordan Hurley in for the moment.
Going into 3 though. I think it's going to be all Gary here.
Lewis All Gary Lewis in the number 69 to the lead at Atlanta.
That's quite
Very
the drive,
nice.
too.
Very
Starting
nicely
outside
done
the top
there. Going,
17 on that restart.
yeah, starting outside toward the back of the pack. So we got another yellow here.
The
I think the
caution
18
back
was involved. Just
out.
kidding.
Oh, that's. We're looking to see our one to go replay.
Oh, yeah, 18 and the 1. It looks like they made contact a little bit.
Let's see it. Not a huge, not really a good break there for Gary Lewis either. He kind of needed that run to keep stay green for a little bit, because now everybody's going to come down pit road, and obviously they were close to needing fuel too. So
yeah,
really tough break there.
Now it forces their hand. They have to stay out now, while everybody else that has 35 laps on their tires, they're going to come in and get new ones.
See what happened here on this replay, Hunter.
Going into turn 3, really looking to see. It looks like there was a spin in front of them.
Yeah,
oh,
18
big number of drivers getting involved.
Oh wow, that's 3 playoff guys
good
right there.
Number of drivers, yeah.
Yeah, it all started out when the 18 was giving a push to the 1 car on the inside lane. I don't know if the 1 just looked like the 1 was on the apron. I don't know if he was trying to pit or what, but 18 didn't see that, and it just caused that whole debacle with those playoff drivers.
Well, we'll see it here coming around this time. You see on the left side of your screen there are a number of drivers coming down pit road, servicing their car, getting new tires on, as we'll see the replay here of the spin going into 3 and 4.
One was coming down to pit lane, he had called out.
Oh, and it just gets clipped by the 18 of Caleb Steimer, and then nowhere to go for these guys.
Man.
And I just don't know. Yeah, all those Sean Corcoran around. Got a couple other guys involved in that too. I think, did I see the 66 there too? So, but
Forrest,
yeah,
Sean Corcoran, Bobby.
It was one of those things where it depends on when that 1 car called it out. Because if he called it late, I mean, nowhere for that 18 to go. But if he did call it out, and the one just if the 1 did call it out and the 18 didn't hear him, that's on the 18. Because these guys really do try to communicate very well when they're pitting versus when they're not pitting.
Well, we'll see if there's an EOL given out by the admins tonight.
And I'm showing here the top 2 have stayed out. Gary Lewis and Eli Green. Everybody else came down pit road to get tires.
And no choice there for either one of those guys, like you mentioned. The EOL, by the way, Hunter, to touch up on that, it was given out to the 18 there from our admin team. So
Caleb Steimer given the EOL. He'll go to the back of the longest line. He'll be behind all of these drivers as we're getting ready for our restart here. Coverage of tonight's Arise Swift Lifestyle Pro Series playoffs in Atlanta, brought to you by Northern Capital. We would like to give a big thank you to Russ and Steve Anderson of Northern Capital for their continuous support of the Northern Capital Truck Series and the Araya League in general. You can catch tomorrow night's Northern Capital Truck Series as they start their playoffs at the same racetrack in Atlanta, 8:40 Eastern on the Araya Twitch channel. As I mentioned, one of the downsides of pitting early, not only do you lose a set of tires, but you have an early caution like that into your run, and the majority of the field behind these guys of Gary Lewis and Eli Green, they all have newer tires. Meanwhile, those two are basically sitting ducks on tires older than 15 laps.
Watch the front row here. It's going to be marvelous.
Green flag flies once more in Atlanta.
Look at the 69.
Gary Lewis in the middle already.
Yeah, he spun his tires really bad there. That both the guys on the front row did. Now they're just going to fall back with these guys that got new tires right here.
Hey, Jake.
Jordan Hurley looking like he'll go to the lead. Go on.
The question with Jacob Bell there is are they going to issue any penalties for changing lanes prior to the start
on the
finish
02
line?
there? Yeah, it was close. I was thinking the same thing when I saw it. It's going to be a close one.
You can't go until after the start finish line.
Yeah, and it definitely looked like he might have peaked early. So we'll see what the call is there on the 02 of Hurley.
Yeah, I think he was just anticipating the 69 to spin the tires. So it might have been one of those things where he might have been trying to avoid the yellow, but at the same time, it's like you gotta stay behind as much as you can.
For the moment, Jordan Hurley continues to lead with Shane Wolf looking to his inside there, going down into turn 3. There's still an opening there, but not the run for the 31.
Yeah, I think James right here at this point in the run, he's just trying to ride and take what he's got here so far. He's run second, best out of the playoff drivers so far, and just trying to get to the end. Well, I'd say that, and he's got a run on the O2, so he might even try to take the lead here.
I'm going to say you saw the 22 on the bottom there going into turn one. Sean Corcoran coming out of pit road, currently 3 laps down. The one driver I still see on pit road is Trevor Williams.
Yeah, Trevor Williams still on pit road as well. This is a tough break for those two drivers.
Yeah, and that's going to put them in a hole early on. 2 race rounds. They're going to have to go into next week's race really looking to try to dig themselves out of a hole at Richmond.
Well, I will say, if they do get a lucky break here, Sean is the only car that's multiple laps down, so he would get a lucky dog here. That would help him out if he does get a quick break here with a quick yellow.
They are stacking up, by the way, right behind Dominic DeLeo.
Yeah, I was seeing that.
66 of Bobby Tinch's.
I was seeing that myself. They were starting to stack up here, 2 and 3 wide. I was seeing that on the exit of 2. It's gonna be interesting to see how long these guys can keep it up. I know these guys are typically very clean racers, but you got some guys here, especially the 28 Eli Green on older tires. He's just trying to make it to the end of his fuel run at this point.
Battle for the lead also. The 02 of Hurley and the 31 of Shane Wolf.
Yeah, 31 of Shane Wolf taking it down to the inside. He's going to be able to possibly take the lead here off of turn number 4. And he's got Matt Robinson there with him, but the 2 are going to be able to hold him off this lap. Or the 02, rather.
Yep, door to door as they go down in the turn 1. Shane Wolf on the bottom, looking like he's got the lead for the moment. Matthew Robinson
going to be able to slide him here
underneath the 02 for the second spot. Not going to get there just yet, but change for first. Shane Wolf to the lead.
Shane Wolf to the lead, able to get that nice slide job there in turn 1, able to slide up in front and off the exit of 2. He'll be able to take that lead away, and he's hoping that he could start pulling away from these guys.
It's a 5-car freight train at the front, which is kind of interesting. You go back to 6th place Dominic DeLeo, it's like 2 seconds behind there.
Yeah, he's like 2 seconds behind here, and I am seeing that it is Bobby Tinch here in 6th now, as the scoring changed over. But yeah, these guys back here, 6 on back, they've been battling since the drop of the green flag on that restart, and now they're just kind of staying stagnant here, about 2 seconds, almost 3 seconds back now.
So, Jake, you did say that Caleb Steimer got the EOL, right? Because he's still in part of the top 10. Yeah.
He was issued the EOL from Brad Slaughter from the admin. I heard it over the radio comms there, but I don't know.
I heard it over the radio, and I do see that he got it here.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Let me check here.
It was not given in iRacing. It was not given in iRacing.
Yeah, actually, check that. I went back and looked at it. No, he did not get it.
Yeah, so maybe an admin error there, but he did call out that it was going to the 18, so.
And it is admin by humans, so humans do forget and make mistakes from time to time.
The 4, Paul Irvin's got some serious speed. He was in 4th at one point. Now he's looking to get 2nd away from Jordan Hurley as they go through 1 and 2.
Yeah, it looks like Paul able to make that outside lane work in turns 1 and 2. Haven't seen a whole lot of guys be brave enough yet. Looks like the O2 got a little bit loose there off the exit of 2. Now he's just going to be able to, Paul's going to be able to send it here going into 3 and make that high side really work. It really works well here at this end of the speedway.
And he's got, Robinson looked like he was going to go low, maybe go 3 wide here down the quad oval.
And the O2 had to make a defensive move there to block the run of the 40, just a little bit, not a whole lot here.
So Paul Irvin now clears Jordan Hurley for 2nd, and now Hurley's got Robinson looking low as they come off 2. Now back in line to go down the backstretch. 3rd, 4th, and 5th still in a tight bubble.
Yeah, and it's kind of a 3-car breakaway after that for 6th, 7th, and 8th between Bobby Tinch, Nick Halda, and Rick Christensen. Trying to see if there's any good battles on the racetrack. Nothing a whole lot going on right now. Everybody's pretty much single file.
Paul Irvin's still blinking in and out.
But it's not as bad as it was at the beginning of the race. I have noticed that it has improved quite a bit.
Whoa. Slow car there as they were avoiding going down the backstretch. Happened right in front of Dominic DeLeo.
Yeah, I saw that there at the corner of my eye on the monitor, and yeah, that was pretty close there. Pretty close quarters. Yeah, it looks like James has been able to extend his lead as there's still a battle for 2nd brewing.
In the back, you see the 0-2 of Hurley looking like he's going to give it another go inside the 4 of Paul Irvin. Irvin's still trying to run the outside and pull away from these guys, but the 0-2 is down there.
Yeah, 0-2 is down there, and honestly, Paul's going to be, yeah, you could make a run on the high side here, but if you have numbers down there on the inside, because you're seeing Robinson going with Hurley on the 0-2 there, it makes it really hard to try and pull away if you're going to be the only guy running the outside line.
Yeah, not to mention running at the tail end of that is Vern Hawkins, so he's got a bird's eye view really of all the action going on in front of him.
Yeah, and that's a good place to be in. And honestly, say they do make a little bit of contact, that puts you in a spot to be able to avoid them, so to speak.
An even better spot is where our current leader, James Shanewolf, is running first, and he's got a rear view mirror full of those drivers that are tucked away for the moment.
And he is pulling away just a slight bit. He's got about 0.76 on these guys. And we got another yellow. Trouble on the racetrack. We got
Caution
problems.
now for the third time tonight.
And these guys are having their hands full a little bit. I'm seeing the 87. 87
like
got
Nicholas
some damage.
Halder in 87 there was collected as they go 3 wide down the quad.
Oh! I don't know if he hit the wall in like turn 4 or something, but he got hit going down the quad oval, but he had some issues going into turn 3.
Take a look at the replay here. See the 18?
Oh, he got on the wall.
0? Yeah, there's the 87.
No contact there. As
And then the
87
87 gets run over here, coming down the front straightaway here.
Oh,
the 28 just plows right into it. You'll see here in a minute.
I'm about to say, Gary, you sound like you're way ahead of us, man.
Sorry, I'm not very good when it comes to looking at the monitor for replays. My apologies.
But he's down on the track, Hunter, here, and
that car just won't turn. Oh, he gets jacked up off the ground.
2 more playoff drivers now. Add them to the bucket of who's had issues tonight.
Another one bites the dust. But hey,
to go replay,
Sean Corcoran, he's going to get a lucky dog.
On those is just you see all the damage or whatever that Nick Halda, you see that he wasn't very decisive of what line he was going to take as a slower vehicle, as he was in 3 different lanes on the front stretch.
It looked like that he was trying to get on the pit road, but the car won't turn, and that's why you saw him just look like he was going in a straight line down the quad oval.
Yeah, I was going to say, on my screen, it looked like he had a right front blowout or right front suspension problem. So he had a hard time trying to keep that car turned to go down to pit road, and then on the straightaway, especially the front straightaway, you are still turning that car to the left. So it's hard to he was trying to keep it as low as he could, but it's hard, like you were saying there, Hunter, to keep the car under control.
Yeah, we saw that earlier in the race with Ryan Swan, and thankfully he had no one to his inside or behind him so that he could safely make his way onto pit road. And Ryan Swan looking like he's our only driver who has disconnected or DNF'd from tonight's race. Still got 24 cars out on the racetrack. Good bit on the lead lap, and then we have a handful of those that are off the lead lap.
I tell you what, the guys that wanted to see this caution just now, the 69 of Gary Lewis and the 28 of Eli Green, they get to make a pit stop now and get some fresh rubber on these race cars.
Yes, indeed, that will help them out.
And the field is split about half and half here as far as the pit strategy goes. About top 10 stayed out, and 11th through 21st, 22nd, rest on back, all pitted.
Looks like we'll take our halfway lap under caution. We're going to give our halfway rundown presented by Swift Lifestyles. Fans, be sure to visit our sponsor, Swift Lifestyles, for clean supplements to help improve your focus and gaming. Use the discount code on your screen, AREA iRacing, AREA iRacing, for 15% off your entire order. We would once again like to give a big thanks to Swift Lifestyles and their support of the Swift Lifestyle Pro Series. So your current leader is Jordan Hurley. He's been one of the faster drivers in the field tonight. He's been consistently inside the top 5. He's had the lead at one point. Other drivers have had the lead, but looking like he's led the majority of this race so far. As we see the driver behind him, Matthew Robinson, one of the highest running playoff driver currently, and he's been fast all year long. He's yet to lead a lap tonight, but wouldn't count out that 40 just yet. He's got top 5 speed.
Wouldn't
Yeah, right
count out that
behind
40.
Going
Go
to
ahead.
the 41 here, Vern Hawkins. Pretty quiet night. He snuck his way into the top 5. We'll see if he's got something for our top 2 race leaders. And outside of him, Dom DeLeo, who's kind of been mired back in that traffic and the Hornets' nest really outside the top 5, finally finds himself in 4th. We'll see what the 21's got here on this last run.
I'll tell you what, the row to be looking out for, it's going to be row number 6. The 4 Paul Irvin and James Shanewolf. They were our leaders that pitted, and they've got 4 fresh tires. They have got, according to the stent on track here, they have got an 18-lap difference on their tires here. So it's going to be interesting here once we come to the drop of the green flag.
Yep, right there you see the 4 Paul Irvin, and then we go back up to 5th place, Bobby Tinch. Bobby Tinch has had an up and down kind of night. He's been in the back part of this field, and now he finds himself in the 5th spot. Caleb Steimer's had a really solid night, although the EOL was not given out to him. He finds himself in the 6th spot. Still, strong run for that 18 car as he's in the playoff run. So it looks like the pace car is going to make its way on the pit road. We'll continue this after the restart as Rick Christensen in 7th, JJ Wang 8th, and then 9th and 10th go to JJ Wang and Mark Patterson.
Yeah, and those guys were able to buy a little bit of track position. These guys here that might have been mid to back of the pack, they've been able to buy a little bit of track position with this caution, a little bit older tires. So going to be interesting to see if they're going to be able to keep it up there as they've got some fast guys behind them that took tires on this last pit stop here.
A good restart for the 0-2 of Jordan Hurley. He's pulled away quite a bit to Matthew Robinson and Vern Hawkins, as Robinson holding on to second for the moment. Hawkins trying to build a run on the outside. Couldn't quite get that. Right behind them, though, battle for 4th, side by side all over between Dominic DeLeo and looks like
66 Bobby Tinch, even Stein. Yeah, number 18 here. Yeah, these guys have been driving their brains out since the drop of the green flag. They've been going at it really, really hard, and they're about to be 3 wide here coming down to front back straightaway. Caleb got a little bit squirrely there.
Steimer on the outside. This is the battle for 5th.
Yeah, battle for 5th, and these guys have been driving the brains out here. Here comes James Shanewolf. He was about 11th, or 12th rather, on that restart, and he's working his way up inside the top 10 into the 9th position already.
These guys are all in the playoffs also. It's like
these guys got a lot to lose. It's a recipe for a 5-car wreck here, Jacob. That's all I keep seeing. 3 wide here. Here comes James to the inside.
The only one that's not in the playoffs in this battle is Rick Christensen. He's kind of driving away from it now as he's past Steimer for the 5th spot. But right behind them, though, still battles going on.
Here comes James Shanewolf. He's going to go to the inside here of the 18 of Caleb Steimer.
Shanewolf working his way through. Battle for 6 going on. These guys
not going to be much of a battle. He's going to send it in here, and he's going to try to get a 2-for-1 here with Rick Christensen, too. And he's going to get it.
Okay, not the 4 of Paul Irvin. He pitted also, and he has fresh tires. He's working his way inside the top 10.
Yeah, and Rick is being very smart about it here in this situation. You know, you're on the older tires. These guys got freshies. Just go ahead and let them go.
Shanewolf passing DeLeo. Now Irvin passing DeLeo. They'll move up to 4th and 5th on the board. DeLeo falling back to 6th. Battle for the lead starting to heat up between Hurley and Robinson.
Yeah, starting to battle up here between these two, but it's not going to last for much longer. Those the 31 and the 4, they got fresh tires. They're going to be there in a minute.
It was there working on the Vern Hawkins machine in the number 41. They'll get by him in a couple of laps, it seems like, or a couple of turns for James Shanewolf.
Yeah, James Shanewolf, he's going to get him come down this front straightaway. He's already to his inside here. Yeah, and he's going to be able to send it, and you know Paul's going to follow right through with him. Oh, there he goes.
We just had a 4-wide move in the back because
4 wide.
The 84 got into the wall in turn 4, and they had to go 4 wide to avoid missing him on the front straightaway.
That'd be replay worthy, let me tell you. Holy cow, they were 4 wide.
Battle for the lead still going on. So it might be a 4-car battle for the lead here. So here comes Robinson down low. He's going to clip the grass, get a little loose, and he's saving it. Hurley and Robinson side by side, but here comes Shanewolf and Paul Irvin right behind.
You want to talk about a pass through the grass? Robinson tried to attempt it there. He's got the 31 all over his back bumper. He's going to try to make it 3 wide at the exit of 2. There he goes.
Oh, Shane Wolf not quite down there just yet, but side-by-side battle for the lead, side-by-side battle for third.
Here comes Paul. He's going to go use the middle right here. Watch this.
They might go 4 wide for the lead, coming off turn 4.
3 wide.
Unbelievable battle.
Look at that move Paul Irvin just made right there. That was a ballsy move this early in the race.
That was incredible.
And now look at these two. Now they take the top 2 spots. Now they're just going to say bye-bye to the 3rd and 4th right here. Well, not so fast.
The lead. James Shane Wolf to 2nd as they went 4 wide and passed both Jordan Hurley and Matthew Robinson. A 4 wide battle for the lead coming off turn 4. Unbelievable that they didn't wreck from that.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, honestly, right now, you could say that is the move of the race that Paul Irvin just made there a couple laps ago to take the lead. Middle of a 3 wide, then it was a 4 wide situation, and able to make it stick. That took a lot of guts.
Absolutely, and it looked like from going into turn 3 that didn't look like they were going to stay side by side right behind those two for very long, as now they're battling for the lead on their own.
Yeah, now they're battling for the lead on their own.
Take it away from Paul Irvin. Irvin looking like he's going to try and cross him over as they go through turn 3 and exit turn 4.
He's probably still trying to catch his breath. That's why he gave up the lead.
Yeah, try to catch his breath from that 3 wide pass. Because, I mean, the 0-2 of Jordan Hurley did leave the door open. He took the high side there, and Paul was like, well, I got newer tires. I see there's a gap in the middle. I'm just going to take it here. And it did pay off for him.
I'll say this. All I can really think about is how disappointing it's going to be to not be able to race this track anymore after this season.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. That was a very good move and a very good pass right there.
Well, you know, it's nice that you say that, Jake. You know, the great thing about iRacing is when they do put out the new Atlanta, this will become a legacy track, and we'll still have it in the service, so we can still use it. Just the real world people won't be able to see it anymore.
Well, we do have a battle for 3rd brewing here. Gary Lewis in the 69 looking to the inside of the 0-2. He's going to be able to make that stick here and take that 3rd spot away.
Gary Lewis, another fast car. Looks like he's got a new set of tires on as well. Got the same one as our front 2, James Shane Wolf and Paul Irvin. So look for the 69 to make his way through the front 2.
Yeah, and he was playing it a little more conservative this run. But yeah, we're seeing a 17-lap difference on these tires. Top 3, they got the 17-lap advantage here right now.
Another one to look out for is Travis Beckner, who has the same tires. He just went up to 6th, passing the 41 of Vern Hawkins.
Yeah, and he's playing it safe right now. Definitely not driving aggressive as the top 2 were getting their way through the field. But he's very content right here, riding around that 7th spot, or 6th spot, rather.
Move towards the back also. Drivers that pitted and have newer tires, Jeremy Horn and Brian Dixon, currently running 9th and 10th on the racetrack. As it looks like car in the wall back there, looking like it is Steimer. Yeah, so Caleb Steimer again, the turn 2 wall in the back.
Yeah, he's had a rough night already in that 18 car.
He's just
playoff guys. Look at the playoff guys. You got the 87 and Nick Halda scored 23rd. 14 laps down. Trevor Williams 24th, 17 laps down. John Corcoran 21st, 4 laps down. I mean, that's some pretty playoff altering positioning there for those 3 guys.
Yeah, definitely playoff altering for sure. And that 18 of Caleb Steimer, he's just getting his Atlanta stripe on the exit too, just like about everybody else has here tonight for sure. But yeah, tough break for those guys in the playoffs. Not the start that they were hoping for.
Battle for the lead, heating up again for Paul Irvin has reeled in the 31 of James Shane Wolf. So he got to the bumper at one point, but did not make a move.
Yeah, didn't make a move, but we still got quite a few laps to go in this race here. Still plenty of time to be able to make a pass. And I believe they still have one more pit stop yet to go, so gonna have to pit at least for fuel one more time. I don't know how many tires they got left. They got a set. They're definitely going to use it.
I think everybody's got about 1 set left, and like you said, they're going to have to come down for at least one more stop of fuel, and they should be good to go from here.
Hurley Hurley, Robinson, DeLeo, Hawkins, Steimer, Wang, Patterson, and Tinch have only been down once.
They got 2 sets left in those guys' race cars, so
That's
good
impressive
deal for them.
Yeah, for sure. They're definitely banking on a potential situation of a late race caution, especially if we go into overtime.
I still think I like the positioning for Gary Lewis and those guys who have already made 2 stops. I think they can come in for their final stop around lap 80, 85, and they'll be pretty good to the end as long as they don't get a caution there with about 10 laps to go. So I think I like that strategy still.
Oh, definitely. For sure. For sure.
Right there, you see the battle for 4th still going on between the 02 of Jordan Hurley and the 40 of Matthew Robinson. Robinson, a playoff driver. In front of him, really, 2 playoff drivers in James Shanewolf leading and Gary Lewis in 3rd. Still a solid night for the 40 of Matthew Robinson, although he has yet to lead a lap. Oh, and right behind him, that looked like Beckner.
Yeah, it looked like Beckner. Somebody got down to the bottom of the racetrack there.
Right there, you see the 87 of Nicholas Hall. He's 23rd, 16 laps down. Still got speed, but a good number of laps behind.
Yeah, good number of laps behind. Tough to see that, though, for the 87, because definitely had a top 10 car for sure, maybe even a top 5 car speed-wise, but got that incident early and just hasn't been able to recover with all the damage that he got.
Yeah, he entered tonight's race 2nd in the playoff standings, just behind the 40 of Matthew Robinson, so a big hit for the 87 of Nicholas Haldez. We have a battle brewing still in the back between Dominic DeLeo and it looks like a handful of others, really.
Yeah, a handful of others, really. These top 2, so to speak. Got the 21 of Dominic DeLeo, then you got the 33 of Brian Dixon, and then it's a 3-car battle here between Christensen, then you got the 41 as well, and the 18 here, I believe.
Caleb Steimer he's about 2 seconds.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's my mistake. My racing's bouncing all over the place, guys. I apologize.
No, you're good. Looks like we got some takers down pit road. Those being
Vern Hawkins coming down pit road here. I believe you said the 02 as well.
Adam Capps, Bobby Tinch also on pit road.
And that pit window is open to make it to the end, so not really surprising seeing these guys coming down pit road here.
Seems like we'll be seeing that with those that are closer on fuel, being Matthew Robinson, Dominic DeLeo, and then Rick Christensen for those inside the top 10. 31 of Shane Wolf starting to pull ground on the 4 of Paul Irvin, almost a second now.
Yeah, it looks like the 4 and the 31 are both coming down here for tires, because once those guys they got their fuel and tires, they're going to be quite a bit faster a lap. So it did force their hand a little bit, even though they weren't quite ready to come down pit road. About a half fuel run in, they definitely had to come in for those tires.
Jordan Hurley packet has lost the connection to the server, and the 02 is out.
Yep, just seen that. Tough break for the 02.
Yeah, one of the faster drivers of the night, Jordan Hurley, disconnected. Unfortunate to see there, but that opens up the door for playoff drivers to better their finishing positions by at least 1. So we'll see Gary Lewis currently leading.
Yep, he's going to get a point there for leading a lap.
Yeah, bonus point for the first lap you lead, and especially being in the playoffs, that helps quite a bit.
Yeah, especially if you're one of those bottom guys in the playoff bracket, it's going to help you advance just a little bit, get you a little bit closer to that cutoff line. Especially with next week being Richmond, that's going to be a crazy race in itself.
Yeah, every point matters, and it matters even more in the playoffs. Still got drivers coming down pit road, a good bit of them 1 lap down.
Yeah, it looks like we still got about 10 cars on the lead lap here, 9 cars on the lead lap, so
Jeremy
Gonna be
Horn and Rick
interesting as
Christensen
these pit stops cycle through.
Jeremy Horn, Rick Christensen, Caleb Steimer have come down pit road. We might have a change in the. Actually, no, that is 87 and Nicholas Halden. My apologies.
Yeah, nope, not a battle for the lead yet.
There's the 40 of Robinson. Looking
Yep,
like he'll
he's
come
gonna be
down pit
coming
road
down
this
pit
time.
road.
Sideways.
Yeah, sideways, and it's really hard. It may look easy, but getting on pit road here with really worn out tires, that is really hard to do. It's hard to time your braking points and try not to get that car sideways, and also get it down to pit speed.
Yeah, we saw the 21 of Dominic DeLeo. He pulled to the apron and rode the apron through 3 and 4 and then got on the pit road, whereas we saw Robinson just make that sharp left turn, cut in the banking, and you saw that car get sideways. Now we'll see Gary Lewis come down pit
Gary
road.
Lewis come down pit road too, yep. 33 going to stay out. He's going to lead a lap.
Is Brian Dixon in 33.
Going from 20th to 1st here. Going to get his bonus point. And even though he's not in the playoffs, that does help, your overall seeding as you move up for the end of the season standings, as you're trying to make your end of the season and just finish on a high note. Looks good for yourself and for your team.
Drivers who have yet to pit are Eli Green and Rick Ward. So when this cycles through, it looks like Gary Lewis will be your leader. Actually, no, they just had Gary Lewis is down pit road.
Gary just pitted. Shane Wolf. Shane Wolf looks like he will cycle out as the leader, followed by Paul Irvin in the second spot.
Oh, I thought Gary Lewis had already come down pit road, but I guess I was wrong.
He just came out. He's just now coming out right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but with so few cars in the lead lap, it's hard to keep up.
Whoa, there you saw car sideways there off of turn 2. That was Eli Green.
Got in another battle brewing for that 4th position again. But it looks like it will be the battle for the race lead once pit stops cycle out between the 31 and the 4.
Yep, James Shamwolf and Paul Irvin. Looks like Irvin's in the
James
wall there down the back
Paul got
stretch.
up into the wall there just a little bit there on the back straightaway. As he's bouncing all over the place. It's
Wow,
not my
he is,
connection
yeah.
this time.
Yeah, he is right on the bumper of the 31 also.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting battle for the lead, battle for the win here once it all cycles out. Seeing Brian staying out for yet again another lap. Looks like possibly same with Eli Green. And Rick Ward is also staying out one more lap at least.
These guys might be trying to stay out as long as they can, hoping for a caution to come out so they don't get screwed.
With only 6-7 cars on the lead lap. Oh, as we see the 55 sideways. That's Adam Capps there, got sideways down the back straightaway. But yeah, with as few cars as we have on the lead lap, it pins a lot of cars one lap down, and you come out and you're about, running 6th or 7th. That's some pretty good odds.
Right behind it, right there, you see gaggle of cars behind Capps and Jeremy Horn, Dominic DeLeo, Gary Lewis, and Rick Christensen all in this pack right here. Battle for 9th, heating up.
Yeah, battle for 9th heating up, and I believe I'm hearing the 34 is going to come down pit road this time by for service.
This group is also the guys fighting for being the first car a lap down.
Yep, they are battling for that lucky dog free pass beneficiary, so definitely going to be a battle to watch here. But of our top 3, the first one to cave in is going to be Rick Ward. And you see how much time Eli is losing here. He's letting the double O get back on the lead lap. Same with the 18. So
you see the 33 as well. Our race leader, Brian Dixon, was going backwards in a hurry around that pack. They had just caught him.
Yeah, and he's going to have to think about coming down pit road because it just comes to a point, once those guys start passing you, done lap yourself, you really got to think about coming down pit road. And I believe the 28 is going to do it this time. 28 of Eli Green here.
We might see
Brian didn't have an opportunity to fit there even if he wanted to because he was stuck up on that high side.
Yeah, so the 28 of Eli Green on the pit road now. Waiting on the 33 of Dixon to come down and complete his final pit stop, as that will cycle the field through. And then I'll put Shane Wolf and Paul Irvin into the front 2 positions.
Yep, put these guys back up here, up to the front. Looks like I'm hearing Brian's going to stay out another lap. Yet again.
Just
Still
banking on
waiting on that
caution.
yellow.
He is begging for that yellow flag. Come on, I see debris, I see oil, rain, something. Throw the yellow.
Fog in the area. You cannot see with fog in the area.
Exactly. Oh, there's the call there from the 33. Brian Dixon coming down pit road this time.
It's going to
So
hand
what
the
you're-
lead back over to James Shanewolf, the 31. He's
And-
trying to hold off Paul Irvin right
I
now,
was gonna
but
say, and Paul Irvin, you might as well just say they're both the leader. They've been switching it back and forth the last few laps here. These guys are really battling hard, and we're coming to 20 laps to go here. 21 laps to go.
The next car behind those two is Vern Hawkins, but he's about 7-8 seconds back.
Yeah.
So really,
And what's wild about these pit stops here at Atlanta, man, it really spreads the field out so much here. Once you get down, once you have green flag pit stops. So you'll see a pack or two of a couple, 3 guys, and then you see 1 guy by himself, and then it's like seconds upon seconds on back.
Guys, news from
Really
top,
does spread your field out.
news from on top of the pit box. Matthew Robinson has a 4 set tires for Eagles sitting in the pit lane. His guys are banking on a 10 lap to go caution. Irvin and Shane Wolf have no tires left.
Ooh, that's interesting to hear. So if we get a yellow,
Gary
Man,
Lewis is in that mix as well without any tires left, I believe.
yeah, I believe so, because he pitted during one of the mid-race yellows. That's going to be interesting, though, for Matt. I wonder how many guys are in his position. You know, you got an extra set of stickers there waiting behind pit wall. If you get a caution at about lap 100, round 10 to go, that's going to be interesting. Yeah, still a tight battle here up front between the 31 and the 4. 4 is going to have to let this 28 car go, I believe, here. He's got Eli here. He's got the freshest tires out of these two. Going to kind of hinder their battle for the lead a little bit.
the difference on those tires are about, 14 laps?
Yeah,
But
big
you can
difference
just see
here.
how big of a deal it is.
Yeah, because you see Eli, he's
Oh.
just able to send it down there into the corner where James has to be a little bit more careful at this point of the run, and he almost just didn't have regard there for James. He
Yeah,
almost took him out.
That's gonna help the 4 of Paul Irvin get back to the bumper of Shane
Back
Wolf.
to the bumper. Gonna be interesting here. We see James Fallon almost get back to Eli there.
He
But
got loose there coming out
Eli-
too. Here comes the 4 of Paul Irvin out to the inside. The battle for the lead and potentially for the win. So they're side by side heading in the 3.
Yeah, side by side into 3 here. James keeping it to the outside, Paul to the inside. Oh, they get real close there. Almost made contact.
James Shanewolf did not cut Paul any slack there in turn 3 and 4. He made sure to
Nah,
pinch
he-
him down as hard as he could.
He made sure to pinch him down, and if Paul was going to make a mistake, he had no choice. Paul did, but to get out of the gas there, and it really paid off for James right there at the exit of 4.
Shane Wolf retakes the lead now by about 2 or 3 car lengths over the 4 of Paul Irvin, who's looking once again to reel in that 31 of Shane Wolf.
Matthew Robinson 7/10 faster than the front 2 drivers. Does he have time to make it up on the track?
Depends on if he can make it up on speed alone or if a yellow were to come out, because that would be a better way of making up time if a yellow came out.
Yeah, that is a tall order there for Matthew to try and reel in these guys. I mean, but if they keep battling like they have, anything's possible.
Well, Robinson's kind of known for that this season. A lot of his wins have came, in a situation very similar to this, where it's exactly James Shanewolf out front kind of burning up his tires and Robinson able to conserve them a little bit better and take advantage later in the run.
Well, especially with this top 2 battling for the way they're going,
It's
Robinson
like
will
a
catch
cheese
them in a
grater.
heartbeat.
This track is like a cheese grater with these tires. If you get into a side-by-side battle like this, it just constantly eats and wears out your tires. So if there's anybody, I'll take Jacob's word for it here. If there's anybody that can make up a deficit, probably going to be Matthew here if these guys keep battling like they are.
Well, I think James also realizes too that he wants to go to next week's race at Richmond without having to worry about trying to point his way onto the next round. He knows once he gets that win, he's locked into round 2. Doesn't have to go to Richmond worried about anything that can happen there, that smaller racetrack. So he's going to fight hard for this one.
Oh, yeah, he's definitely going to fight hard and not give it up easily, that's for sure.
On the same hand, Paul Irvin's going to fight hard and make sure that he doesn't have that secured spot. And then the 31 could have an issue next weekend. He might be on the outside looking in if he doesn't win tonight.
To Harold's point, though, I mean, Robinson's still tracking about 3/10 at least a lap quicker than these front two, so there's a chance he gets there.
Well, and it looks like he does have help with another slower car behind him. Looks like the 34 there.
That's Rick
Rick Ward. So he's kind of got a little bit of a drafting help with that 34 to help close the gap. I don't know if that's going to be enough, though. Yeah, the battle for the lead for the time being has kind of calmed down a little bit.
Yeah, they seem to be kind of just running nose to tail here. I was going to mention the 19 of Rick Christensen just in front of this shot. He's one of the quickest guys on the racetrack right now as well. I could see him making his way inside the top 5 before this is over.
Yeah, he actually had a big run on Travis Beckner a couple laps ago, and actually knocked Travis a little bit sideways. Rick had just such a great run that he had nowhere to go with it except to hit the 45 and move him out of the way a little bit.
He's up to 6 now. He just got around Jeremy Horn. See what he can do with 5th place Vern Hawkins in front of him. A little bit too far back, I think, to catch these leaders, though, without a caution.
Yeah, definitely going to be a tough thing to pull off here. Yeah, top 2 looks like it's starting to heat up again. Paul kind of peeking the nose down the straightaways, letting him know that he's here. Here he comes to the high side.
Yeah, Paul's looking. He's looking high at James Shane Wolf. He's looking low, really close to the wall there off of turn 4, but he's going to have a big run.
Yeah, he's going to have a big run because of it, and he's going to be all over the back bumper of the 31 as they go into 1.
The battle for the win between the top 2 in James Shane Wolf and Paul Irvin. As we approach inside 10 laps to go, presented by Sim Speed Shop. We would like to thank Sim Speed Shop for their support of the Sim Speed Shop Cup Series this season in Orion. Racers can visit our website at www.simspeedshop.com to find multiple items to complete their virtual racing setup, such as button boxes, wheels, racing gear, and much more. That is www.simspeedshop.com. As we are inside 10 to go, it looks like a dogfight between the 31 of Shane Wolf and the 4 of Paul Irvin, trying to reel him back in on the outside. Shane Wolf needing a win to advance to the next round of the playoffs. Paul Irvin trying to prevent that from happening, and Matthew Robinson could be on a late race charge to get up here to the front.
Yeah, I was just about to say, he is reeling in these top 2 here, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. We'll see.
Yeah, I think the difference has fallen off a little bit. They've kind of plateaued their tires between the top 3 guys, where Robinson last time around was only a 10th quicker than James Shane Wolf, and that's just not going to get it done with only 8 laps to go or so. So Shane Wolf and Irvin looking like it might just be between those 2 drivers unless we have a late race yellow, which at a track like Atlanta, very possible.
Yeah, definitely very possible. The 4 just got sideways there coming off of 2. Was able to make a really nice save there. I was just about to say, I think Paul might want to consider cooling off his tires and maybe try to make a little bit of a run with a couple of laps to go. But yeah, that slide that Irvin had coming off of turn 2 that last time by cost him a couple tenths.
Yeah, it's allowing the 31 of Shane Wolf to continue to pull away. So Ford trying to do everything he can. He's in the wall.
There, the turn 2 stripe. There he goes. He's got it again down the back.
He's stuck in the wall. Yeah, Paul Irvin's stuck in the wall.
And that might even cost him second spot here if he's not careful.
Oh, yeah, Robinson, literally, I think he might get that spot too, but that's a lap car behind him. Never mind, I was going to say Gary Lewis might get it too, but now the battle for the lead turns into the battle for second between Paul Irvin and Matthew Robinson, and now Shane Wolf has a 4-second margin.
Yeah, James just got a 4-second margin. Paul has dropped off like a rock here. He's probably going to finish third.
Yeah, he might finish worth. Robinson to the outside there, battle for second. Not really much of a battle as the 4 of Paul Irvin trying to hold on to what he can. Runs in third for the moment.
And his tires are what we call, at this point, used up. He really abused those tires, trying to battle for the lead, got up into the wall. Now that car is going to be very hard to drive the last 5 laps here, just trying to nurse it home.
Well, when you look at our playoff guys here, good break, good night so far for Shane Wolf Robinson, Gary Lewis in fourth. How about Dom DeLeo, a quiet sixth place run? Hunter, who had the worst average finish tonight at 1.5 racetracks?
It'll be the 18 of Caleb Steimer, and he's just running one spot outside of the top 10.
Yeah, pretty solid run for him, as well as teammate JJ Wang. Those guys 11th and 12th, so good night for those guys to kick off their playoffs, and we'll see if they can nurse it home to a solid run tonight to end off the race.
And that's what you need at the point in these playoffs. You just need solid top 10s. Yeah, wins are nice following round, but you just need to come home, bring the car home in one piece with no damage on it.
Oh, never mind. It looked like Travis Beckner was on pit road, but he just blinked in and out. Beckner running in the 9th spot. We're winding down the laps here at Atlanta. Handful of laps to go for the 31 of Shane Wolf.
Not sure if anybody's going to have anything for that 31 at this point.
Yeah, not at this point in time. There is a nice little battle, though, for 7th between the 81 of Jeremy Horn and 41 of Vern Hawkins. Looks like Horn was able to take over that spot, though, and pull away just a little bit.
This is the closest battle on the racetrack, and just in front of those two are Dominic DeLeo, who is he was the last driver in the playoff standings coming in, and he needed a solid run, and he's got it right now with a 6th place run. Still 2 laps to go in Atlanta.
Yeah, still 2 laps to go here. James doing all he can to keep that car in one piece. He's just got to make a couple more turns here once he gets off 4, and he'll be the winner. If the tires don't blow out and the engine don't blow up, and if you don't wreck.
We see the flagman waving the white flag. 1 to go in Atlanta, presented by 1 to Go Studios.
Yeah, James here just looking to keep it cool and consistent. Yeah, Robinson's been able to run him down the last couple laps, but not going to be enough. And James just got to keep it cool here off of 2 down this back straightaway, make 2 more corners, and he's going to be your winner and advance on to round 2.
Shane Wolf entered the playoffs 3rd. He had the average finish of 14th coming into tonight. He's going to improve that as he comes off turn 4. He's going to win at Atlanta, and he advances to the round of 8 in the Swift Lifestyle Pro Series playoffs.
Very good win for James as we see him throwing it sideways here in victory here.
Heck of a drive for Shane Wolf tonight, man. He did everything he had to do. Ultimately, I think the strategy, Gary, that we had talked about, I think his strategy ended up working out the best.
Yeah, he definitely played his cards right, and he's definitely going to be the one doing burnouts here. Definitely paid off for him.
Matthew Robinson coming on with a strong 2nd place finish. Paul Irvin looking like he'd hold on to 3rd. Gary Lewis 4th, another playoff driver, and Rick Christensen rounding out the top 5. But an impressive run by the 31 of James Shane Wolf. He wins and he locks himself into the next round of the playoffs. So he goes into next week without any worry.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be sleeping good these next 7 days because he knows that all he has to do now is just prepare for round 1 of the 2nd round.
We're going to get a chance also to talk to our race winner, James Shane Wolf here in the number 31 as he's burning it down. Matthew Robinson as well, and Paul Irvin in 3rd, who we thought for a second might have something for the 31.
Yeah, he was on a charge at the end, but at some point the tires just evened out, and they evened out at the worst possible moment. And then the contact between Paul Irvin and the outside wall, it's what led Robinson to an even better finishing position, but wish it would have resulted in the yellow.
Go ahead and bring him up, Hunter. I think you got James Shane Wolf down there.
It's definitely stretching it. It's like just gotta hope it goes green.
Oh, we got you up here, James.
What's going on, guys?
Hunter, you got it. You got it, Hunter. Go ahead.
I didn't know if Jake was going to lead the way, but
all you, man.
Impressive run, James. Good battle between you and the 4 of Paul Irvin. You got a top 5 car all night, but when it came down to the end of the race, it seemed like it was going to be between you and the 4 of Paul Irvin. Take us through that battle, because it looked like at one point, if the 4 of Paul Irvin didn't lift coming out of turn 4, it would have resulted in a wreck between both of you.
Yeah, he's a teammate, so we were racing it out. He knew my playoff position. He knew what it meant to win the race, to get to the next round and stuff like that. So he was driving me real heads up, real clean. He definitely wasn't trying to give it to me. He said that from the very get go, and I wouldn't want to win a race like that regardless. So he raced me for it, but he raced me really respectfully, gave me a ton of room, and I can't thank him enough for that.
Well, James, obviously that win, more importantly for you, it's going to lock you into the second round of the playoffs, the round of 8. So you got Michigan and Kansas, I believe, those 2 racetracks. How's it feel knowing that it's only 2 races separating you from a Final Four appearance in Phoenix?
Man, it feels great. Like at the beginning of this ARCA series, I had no intention to run it. I jumped in at Homestead just for the fun of it. Just 'cause I miss these are my favorite cars to drive, just because I miss driving them. And then my buddy Adam, who owns Audible Entertainment, he got a hold of me and said that he was trying to put a team together last minute and asked me if I would run it. And I told him yeah, so I filled the seat. Like I said, very last second decision to do it. So to have the success we've had and go out there and represent himself or represent him and Audible Entertainment brand as a whole is really awesome.
Well, I'll toss it up to you, Gary, if you got anything you want to ask our race winner here tonight, James Shanewolf.
I really don't got anything to ask you, but I just want to say that I finally picked you, and you finally finished it off. Good job, first and foremost.
Heck yeah.
Right. But just looking ahead here in the playoffs, man, I mean, we got you're locked in, so you don't got to worry about Richmond next week, but I'm sure you're going to probably try to win it as you normally do.
Oh, yeah.
Second round, man, you got any tracks that you like coming up here on the schedule?
All of them, man. This whole playoff schedule is a lot of tracks that suit my driving style. So there's not a race on here that I'm like dreading, but there's also none of them are my favorite tracks. So there's none of them that I'm like really excited about. But I run pretty consistent at all of them, so I'm looking forward to them all.
So you think you got a shot come Michigan or Kansas here, running pretty good? That's good. That's good.
Oh yeah.
Jacob, you got anything else for him? Or Hunter? Anybody?
Nah, man. Just any sponsors you want to give a shout out to that help you got here. I know you mentioned Adam and Audible.
Yeah, Adam, Audible Entertainment, everything that man does for me. CNC Logging, One Mind Two Design Studio. They've got a big announcement coming up here in a couple weeks. They always keep my cars looking nice, keep me looking pretty. I had a special decal on the rear quarter panels tonight. Carol Strong. That is for Dustin Carroll and his father. His father's going through some medical issues, stuff like that right now, and doing good, doing a lot better. But just wanted to let the whole Carroll family know that we're thinking about him and keeping him in our thoughts. And thanks to Swift Lifestyles for sponsoring the series. Jacob, all the admins for putting it on, man. One to go for the broadcast, and all the viewers that watch. Especially a shout out to my old lady and my kids. They're actually not home tonight, so I'm sure they're up in Richmond at her father's house watching me run. So shout out to everybody up there watching me.
That just means you can have a crazier celebration
Oh yeah,
there's
going to be a couple adult refreshments consumed here shortly.
Well, we'll let you go and celebrate. Congrats on the win and advancing to the round of 8.
Appreciate it, buddy.
All right, that was race winner James Shanewolf. And that will bring up second place finisher Matthew Robinson. Matthew, this is Hunter, Jake, Gary, and Harold in the booth. Got a copy?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, you entered as the favorite heading into tonight. You had a solid top 5 run at the very end. You had the fresher tires. At some point, they evened out. It looked like you were going to get up there, but wasn't meant to be, although you did improve to second place after this situation with Paul Irvin. Take us through what your night was like.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Didn't really expect it to go how it went. Had those couple cautions at the beginning. I just wish it had stayed majority green. Paul and James got out there with that. They pitted that one of those last cautions and got out there and pretty far, and then they pitted with us. And we for our last pit stop, and sort of, what I figured it would be way out there, and did my best, try to reel them in, but it was just too much.
Well, I didn't know if Jake had anything to add, or if Gary had anything to add from that.
Yeah, man. Definitely not the run that you were hoping for. We heard that you saved a extra set of tires there, in case there was a late race yellow, but we never got it. But how do you feel about going into next week at Richmond? Is that one of your better tracks, or how do you feel about that race?
Yeah, I hadn't really run there much. I run there a little bit, but most of the time I'm a little bit better at short track. So just try to keep the four wheels up underneath me at Richmond. It's I know it's pretty loose there, so just keep a clean car. I think it'll be pretty good going into the next round. Good. We had a good run today, and that helped us out for next week, to make it to the next round. But yeah, just wish I could have got that win tonight. That was pretty close.
Yeah, definitely a good points night for sure. Well, any sponsors or anybody you'd like to thank as you're going to celebrate P2 here?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Justin Rideout and JW Racing. I'd like to thank for shit. Hold on a second. Rogue Energy. It's our new sponsor. You can use the JW Racing as a discount code on their website. They have a bunch of mixes and different flavors you can use for gaming and to keep you energized while you're racing or playing video games or whatnot. And I'd like to thank everyone at Area, all the admins, Brad and Jacob. Everyone, y'all do a great job. Looking forward to closing out the season with a good run here in the playoffs.
Just a reminder for those about Matthew Robinson. His last win came at Iowa, a track in which it's similar length to than the one we're going to next week at Richmond. So keep an eye on Matthew Robinson. Congrats on the second place finish, Matthew.
Yep, thank you.
Alrighty, have a good night. That was second place finisher Matthew Robinson, and we do apologize for the language. We'll go ahead and bring it back with third place finisher and Paul Irvin. Paul, got a copy? This is Hunter, Harold, Gary, and Jake in the booth.
Sir. Yes, sir, I got you.
Boy, it seems like every time you come out on the racetrack, you're always inside the top 5 or top 10. You have a fast car. Contended there for the lead between you and Shane Wolf, although you kind of clipped the outside wall, and that was the downturn of your night. But take us through what that battle was like, because a point in time in turn 4, if you did not lift, you and Shane Wolf would have been in the outside wall.
Yeah, we just knew we needed to get on kind of a different strategy. It was just us two basically on that strategy, pull out to a nice, I think, 10-second lead there at the beginning of that last run. And yeah, I knew didn't want to wreck them, didn't want to push them too terribly hard, and yeah, just wanted to contend with them. Unfortunately, getting into the wall there with about 12 to go kind of ruined it. But having such a big lead on to third, I'm perfectly.
Gary, got anything to add?
Yeah, man. I want to talk about your power move that you had there, 3 and 4 wide. They're coming off of turn 4, a little past halfway through the race. Talk about that pass and what was going through your mind as you were making that calculated move.
Sure, if you want to call it calculated, I call it being at the right place at the right time. Yeah, being on the fresh tires there, and Hurley kind of drifted up the track going into 3, and I saw the hole there, and I knew it was either take it then or Shane Wolf was going to be gone because he was to the inside of Robinson there. So I felt it was a calculated risk as far as being able to make it, and it all worked out.
Yeah, it definitely all worked out. You guys, the 4 of you there, pulled off some great driving there. Coming off of turn 4, going 4 wide. That was pretty incredible. Well, we go to Richmond next week. Short tracks. How do you feel about it?
Definitely not as strong as I do about Atlanta this week. But not being in the playoffs, I can take a few more risks that these playoff drivers can't really take as much. So might pull off a little different strategy and maybe be able to steal one.
Be a spoiler for next week for sure. Well, any final shout outs, thanks to your sponsors you want to give as you're going to celebrate P3 here a little bit?
Definitely, yeah. Shout out to Audible, to Adam Capps for bringing me on board here late into the season. Shout out to Shane Wolf on the win. Obviously, always fun battling him. Over the years, we've had plenty of fun, hard, but battles. Was hoping that this would be another one. And yeah, shout out to you guys up in the booth for putting on one hell of a show.
All right. Well, we appreciate the show you put on between you and Shane Wolf battling for the win there, Paul. Congrats on third. Have a good night.
Thank you, guys. You too.
All right. That was third place finisher Paul Irvin, and we'll get you your finishing results in just a moment here for race number 1 of 5 in the Swift Lifestyle Pro Series playoffs. And in the opening race, James Shane Wolf wound up getting the victory, and he advances to the round of 8. Matthew Robinson in second, Paul Irvin finishing third, Gary Lewis fourth, and rounding out the top 5, Ray Christensen. Then we go to Dominic DeLeo in P6, another playoff driver with a solid run, Jeremy Horn 7th, Fern Hawkins 8th, Travis Beckner 9th, and then rounding out the top 10, Brian Dixon.
Yeah, and coming home in P11 there tonight, we've got J.J. Wang there in 11th spot, 12th place, another playoff driver, Caleb Steimer, 13th place, another playoff driver there, the 84 of Forrest Smith. 14th place is going to be Mark Patterson. 15th is going to be another playoff driver, Eli Green. 16th going to be Adam Capps. 17th going to be Nolan Neiman. 18th, Rick Ward. 19th, Bobby Tinch, another playoff driver. Another playoff driver, Sean Corcoran there, coming in home in 20th.
And then the back 5, we got Dustin Carroll in the 92 finishing 21st. Nicholas Hall and Trevor Williams getting caught up in a wreck early, not what they wanted to see in their playoff run as they finished 22nd and 23rd. Then Jordan Hurley with an unfortunate disconnect that puts him in the 24th position. And then rounding out the field is Ryan Swan in the 9, coming home 25th. We'll take a look at your race recap presented by Elwood Design. James Shane Wolf led 44 of the 110 laps, got the win. 3 cautions for 11 laps early in the race, and then fastest lap went to Eli Green in the 28.
Yeah, kudos to him on getting the fastest lap. A lot of chaos here early tonight, affected a lot of playoff guys. So Richmond, it's going to get even crazier, I think. It's going to be fun to watch here as they head to the short track, the excitement track, as they call it, Richmond here next week.
Yeah, short track means short tempers, and with the playoff push, that's the cutoff race. We don't have a three race round cutoff. We have a 2 race round cutoff, and that is Richmond. Richmond is the first cutoff race before we reset everything for the round of 8, in which you'll go to Michigan and Kansas, and then we'll reset that. And then the highest finisher in the final 4 will be crowned champion at Phoenix. Guys, any final thoughts on tonight's race?
I thought tonight's race was one of the best I've seen in a while. Definitely a lot of chaos early. Definitely a lot of playoff drivers not having the runs that they were wanting to hope for. But overall, I thought the race was really good. A lot of side-by-side action, and just overall the battles in the top 5 and the top 10. Really incredible to watch here tonight.
Points have been updated, and what looks like Nick Halda taking a 6-spot change to be now the bubble driver, just 1 point in front of Eli Green to advance to the round of 8. Of course, we know that James Shane Wolf puts himself in with the win. Matthew Robinson maintains the top position. Outside looking in are Eli Green, Bobby Tinch, Shane Cochran, and Travis Williams. Williams is back off the cut line, 12 points. That's a big gap already going into Richmond.
Yeah, it's already looking like Trevor Williams is going to be in a must-win situation. Well, we'll have to keep an eye on that, and make sure to keep an eye on our social media and our website. Follow us on Twitter at Area iRacing, and then keep up on our website, www.areairacing.com. From everyone up here in the booth to Jacob Bell, Gary Wells, and the Harold Darner, I'm Hunter Slevy saying so long. We'll see you later.
What an exciting race brought to you by Wendigo Studios. Here they come, out of turn 4, to the white flag, and it's 1 to go. Thank you to all our sponsors, drivers, and viewers. We'll see you at the next turn.